Unsupervised machine learning. We have seen that supervised machine learning in which models were trained using the label data, whereas under unsupervised machine learning, we do not have labeled data set. We need to find the hidden patterns from the given data sets. We need to find the hidden patterns from the given data set. So we can solve such type of cases using this to solve such kind of cases where we do not have labeled data sets, we do not have enough knowledge about the data. We apply unsupervised machine learning techniques. We apply unsupervised machine learning techniques. What is unsupervised machine learning? Unsupervised machine learning is a machine learning technique in which models are not supervised using training data sets. Models are not supervised using training data sets. Instead, the models are allowed to find the hidden patterns at their own and identify the insights from the given data. It's similar to like human brains. When we are unknown to a particular situation, we try to learn through that situation. We try to identify the pattern and we try to avoid that situation, or we try to follow that particular situation in the direction where we get a better outcome. Unsupervised machine learning is a type of machine learning in which models are trained using unlabeled data sets and are allowed to act on that data without any supervision. Unsupervised machine learning cannot be directly applied to a regression or classification problem, because unlikely supervised machine learning, we here in this particular case we do not have input, we do not have any labels uh, to the data. So the knowledge about the data is limited. The goal of unsupervised machine learning is to identify the underlying structure of that particular data set, group that data according to the similarity index, and put them in a particular group or something like that. So those, let's say some of the data, they are similar, some of the items they are similar, identify the pattern and club them up in a particular group, identify the pattern. So in that way it'll work, and represent the data set in a compressed format. So that's the major goal of my unsupervised machine learning. Such as, let's say, if I give the images, different types of images, let's say cats and dogs, to a machine, right? And the algorithm is never trained upon the given data set, which means it does not have any idea about the feature of the data set. We haven't given any labels, right? We haven't given any label. That's the job of my unsupervised machine learning model, to identify the pattern and put them into different groups and extract the outcome when the new input is given, right? So the task of unsupervised machine learning algorithm is to identify the image feature at their own. It is expected to do its job its own without any supervision. That's the basic idea. Generally, unsupervised machine learning algorithm will perform this task by applying the clustering algorithms, or it will try to do the clustering of the images into the different groups according to the similarity. Such as, let's say, this dog will have a larger dimension than the cat, so it will try to segregate all larger dimension images as a group in a group, which gives me that that's the group which belongs to the dogs. And then the cats, they will have a smaller dimension, and it will try to frame another group, and it will say that's my second group, where all small dimension images which are belonging to the cat, they are placed. So it's kind of a pattern identification from that. Why we use unsupervised machine learning? Unsupervised machine learning is generally helpful in identifying the insights from the data, identify the patterns, identify the insights of the data. And it's kind of a more or less similar to human learns to think by their own experiences. So it's nearby the real AI, real AI. And unsupervised machine learning, they work on unlabeled and uncategorized data, which makes unsupervised learning more important, because in real world we do not always have inputs with corresponding output. We do not always have inputs with corresponding outputs. To solve such cases, we apply unsupervised machine learning. To solve such cases, we apply unsupervised machine learning. Let's take a look at the working flow or a workflow of unsupervised machine learning. Let's say we have given the input raw data to the model, and here there are no labels or no features are given as an input, and only the raw data images are given, unlabeled data. Model will try to identify the patterns, let's say based on the dimension here. Generally, dog will have a larger dimension than the cat. It will try to interpret that one particular set of images, they are slightly bigger, whereas a second set of images, they are slightly smaller. That's the pattern which model identifies, and then it will try to segregate those patterns into different groups, such as, let's say, larger dimension elements, which are categorized as dogs, and smaller dimension and elements, they are categorized as cats, right? So when that's how the training happens. And when we have given the unlabeled input data, which means it is not categorized, and outputs are also not given, and then now it's like unlabeled input data is, when next time when we unlabeled input data is given to the machine learning model, it will firstly try to interpret my raw data, as we say, based on the dimensions. Smaller dimensions, the group belongs to the cats. Larger dimension, the group belongs to the dogs. And it will try to identify my hidden patterns. Once this is done, it will try to apply the suitable algorithm. Once this is done, it will try to apply the suitable algorithms, such as, let's say, k-means clustering or decision tree. And when you give the new input, that algorithm will try to divide or try to identify or try to put that particular image in a particular group of that particular object based on the similarity and differences, and it will try to predict my outcome. That's how the unsupervised machine learning algorithms work. That's how the unsupervised machine learning algorithm works, right? There are two major types of unsupervised machine learning algorithms, such as, let's say, clustering and association. Clustering and association. Clustering is a method of grouping the objects into different clusters, such as those objects which are having more similarity or they are highly similar. They are kept in a particular single group, and those who are dissimilar, or those who have dissimilarity, they'll be placed in the other group, right? Second group. So based on similarities, it will divide my inputs into the groups, into the clusters. That's how the clustering algorithm works. Clustering analysis, it finds the commonalities between the data and categorize data objects and categorize them as per the presence and absence of these commonalities, right? As per this commonalities. Whereas on the contrary, association uh, rule is like this algorithm's kind of a, it's kind of a rule, is an unsupervised learning method. Association is an unsupervised learning method which is used to find the relationships between the variables in a larger database, such as, let's say, it will try to determine the set of items that occur together in a data set, such as, let's say, it will try to determine the a set of items that occurs together in the data set, such as, let's say, if I am, it is morely applicable to the marketing strategy for more, for more effective. Like I say, if I am trying to purchase breads, right, most likely I'll purchase jam also, right, or maybe different flavors of jams. So it's kind of a bread jams or bread butter, together they will go, right, together they will go, right? So that's a combination or a particular behavior where set of items that those occur together in a particular data set, right? So typically the example of association is the rule of market basket analysis, right? How the customers are purchasing, what items they are purchasing together jointly, and then it will try to suggest similar associated items when they purchase one particular item. That's the basic workflow of my association rule. There are several algorithms of unsupervised machine learning, such as, let's say, k-means clustering, k-nearest neighbors, hierarchical clustering, anomaly detection, neural networks, principal component analysis, independent component analysis, a priori algorithm, singular value decomposition, etc. Let's take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of unsupervised machine learning. Unsupervised machine learning is used for more complex tasks when when we have more complex tasks, such as, let's say, which we couldn't do using supervised machine learning. In such cases, let's say for an example, we do not have enough knowledge about the features of the data. Right here, we data set is unknown, and we wanted our model to learn itself and identify the pattern and give me the output, right? So in such case, when we don't have labeled data, label input data, then we use machine learning, unsupervised machine learning. That's an advantage. Unsupervised machine learning is preferable as it is easy to get unlabeled data in comparison with the labeled data. Sometimes in the real world, we do not have enough features or labels available for that particular data set. So in such case, we can give unlabeled data sets to unsupervised machine learning algorithms and let it find the pattern and identify the outcome. There are certain disadvantages also, such as, let's say, unsupervised machine learning is intrinsically more difficult than supervised machine learning algorithms, as it does not have corresponding output, right? It does not have corresponding output as a label. The result of unsupervised machine learning algorithm might be lesser, it can be less accurate as compared to unsupervised machine learning algorithms, such as, because the data is not labeled, and the algorithms do not know the exact outcome in advance. It's kind of a training on the job. We put a put an employee on the training and give him some tasks, and it doesn't know anything he doesn't know anything, and he'll try to do that job and learn based on the experience, identify the patterns, exploring at its own. So training on the job concept is more applicable here.